Have you ever wondered if your mind holds the key to a life free from fear, stress, and the constant noise that surrounds us? What if the peace you've been searching for isn't something you need to chase, but something you need to unlock within yourself? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, lost in a sea of worries and distractions. But what if I told you that the power to heal your life, to quiet your mind, and to find true peace already exists within you? It's not a distant dream or a complicated process. It's a path that's as close as the next moment of stillness. In this video, we'll explore how you can step off the chaotic treadmill of life and embrace a path of quiet strength and inner peace. Using the wisdom of Stoicism and simple, powerful techniques, you'll learn how to silence the noise in your head, dissolve the fears that hold you back, and create a life filled with calm, clarity, and confidence. This journey isn't about changing the world around you. It's about changing the way you experience it. So take a deep breath and let's begin to explore how your mind can heal your life, one moment of quiet at a time. Chapter 1. Understanding the mind's power to heal. The mind as a healing force. We often underestimate the incredible power of the mind. When we think of healing, we typically picture physical recovery, bandages, medicine, or surgeries. But what if I told you that true healing often begins not in the body, but in the mind? Our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs shape our physical and mental well-being more than we realize. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, sends signals to your body. Your mind is constantly influencing how you experience pain, stress, and even joy. The first step to healing is recognizing that your mind has the power to create or break your sense of peace. The connection between mind and body. It's not just a metaphor. Science has shown that what happens in your mind directly affects your body. Have you ever felt a knot in your stomach before a big meeting, or felt physically drained after an emotional argument? That's the mind-body connection in action. Our mental state influences the immune system, stress levels, and even the rate at which our bodies recover from illness. Negative thoughts, such as fear and anxiety, can weaken the immune system, while positive thoughts like hope and love can actually boost your body's ability to heal itself. When you learn to quiet your mind, you send powerful signals to your body that allow it to restore balance. Healing starts with awareness. Before any real change can happen, we must become aware of the patterns that govern our thoughts. Too often, we go through life on autopilot, allowing our fears, doubts, and insecurities to control us. This constant noise and clutter in the mind prevent healing from taking place. But healing starts with awareness. When you take a step back and observe your thoughts without judgment, you begin to break free from the cycles that hold you back. This awareness is the first tool in your journey toward peace. It's like opening a window on a stuffy room and letting in fresh air. Once you begin to understand your thoughts, you can begin to change them. The power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present, fully engaged in the moment, without worrying about the past or future. When you practice mindfulness, you're able to calm your mind and clear away the distractions that keep you from true healing. It's in these moments of stillness where healing occurs. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, mindfulness teaches you to pause, observe, and choose how you respond. This quiet, deliberate approach allows you to reduce the impact of stress and create space for healing energy to flow. The more present you are with yourself, the more capable you become of seeing things as they truly are, without the distortions created by fear or anxiety. The role of self-talk in healing. What you say to yourself matters more than you think. Negative self-talk, filled with phrases like, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this," erodes your confidence and your ability to heal. On the other hand, positive, compassionate self-talk can help you overcome obstacles and support your body's healing process. It's important to remind yourself that you are not defined by your struggles. You are more than your fears or limitations. By cultivating and encouraging inner dialogue, you nurture your mind's ability to promote healing. Harnessing the power of thought for peace. When you understand that your thoughts are not just fleeting moments but forces that shape your reality, you begin to realize the immense power you hold. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we cannot control the events around us, but we can control how we respond to them. This is where the real power of the mind lies, in your ability to choose your response, no matter the situation. By intentionally shifting your thoughts away from fear and toward clarity, you unlock the path to peace. The mind, when trained, becomes a source of calm, no longer reacting impulsively but instead choosing peace over panic. Healing through letting go. Sometimes the greatest act of healing is simply letting go. Letting go of fear, resentment, and negative emotions allows your mind to heal and find peace. Holding on to past pain only poisons your present. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the grip that these emotions have on your life. When you make peace with the past, you free yourself to fully embrace the present moment and all the potential it offers. By learning to forgive not just others, but yourself, you begin to open up the space for healing and growth. The quiet path to healing. Healing through the mind is a journey of quiet strength. It's not about quick fixes or magical solutions. It's about cultivating a peaceful mind, one thought at a time. When you begin to recognize the power your mind has to create peace and healing, you start to see life through a new lens. This path isn't loud or dramatic. It's gentle, calm, and steady, and it's available to anyone willing to walk it. So, start small. With each quiet moment, each mindful breath, you are healing, not just your mind, but your entire life. Chapter 2. The role of silence in inner peace. The power of silence. In our fast-paced, noisy world, silence is often seen as something to be avoided. We are bombarded with constant information, conversation, and distraction. Yet, in the midst of all this noise, silence holds a unique power. It is in the silence where true peace is found. Silence is not simply the absence of sound. It is the presence of stillness. It is in this stillness that the mind can finally rest, and the soul can begin to heal. The deeper we go into silence, the more we unlock the profound peace that lies within us. Silence as a tool for reflection. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is its ability to create space for reflection. When we are constantly surrounded by noise, we often lose touch with ourselves. The constant chatter of our thoughts and the world around us can prevent us from seeing things clearly. Silence allows us to step away from the noise and reconnect with our inner world. In these moments of quiet, we can reflect on our thoughts, actions, and emotions, gaining insights that might otherwise remain hidden. It is in the silence that we can examine ourselves without judgment, allowing us to better understand who we are and what we truly need. The gift of inner stillness. Inner stillness is a state of peace that comes from within. It is not dependent on external circumstances, but rather on our ability to cultivate quiet within our own minds. This stillness is not achieved by forcing the mind into silence, but by allowing it to rest naturally. Like a calm lake, the mind becomes clear and reflective when the surface is undisturbed. Stillness is a gift we give to ourselves, a sacred space where we can simply be. In this stillness, we can hear our own thoughts more clearly and access a deeper level of awareness. The more we practice stillness, the more we realize that peace is not something to be found outside of us. It is something we already possess. Silence as a path to clarity. In our everyday lives, we are constantly making decisions, responding to others, and processing information. This mental clutter often leads to confusion, stress, and a lack of clarity. Silence, however, provides a much-needed break from this overload. When we quiet the mind, we create the space needed to gain clarity. In the absence of noise and distractions, the mind can see things more clearly, free from the distortions created by fear, anger, or anxiety. By practicing silence regularly, we learn to approach life with greater focus and insight. The clarity that comes from silence is not only mental but emotional as well, allowing us to make decisions that align with our true values. Silence and the release of stress. Stress is one of the greatest obstacles to inner peace. It often arises from a feeling of being overwhelmed by life's demands. In these moments, silence can serve as a powerful tool for releasing stress. When we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to step away from the chaos and regain a sense of control. Silence helps us to reset, to find our footing in the midst of life's challenges. It is in these moments of quiet that we can let go of the tension that builds up in our bodies and minds. By giving ourselves permission to rest in silence, we allow our nervous systems to calm and our minds to reset. This practice is essential for long-term mental and physical health. The importance of creating sacred silence. Not all silence is the same. There is a difference between simply being in a quiet room and creating a space for sacred silence. Sacred silence is intentional. It is the kind of silence that is deliberately cultivated in order to foster deep inner peace. This silence is not empty. It is filled with presence. It is the silence that comes when we meditate, when we sit in stillness, or when we simply choose to be alone with our thoughts. Sacred silence is a time to let go of all external expectations and simply exist. By creating this space for ourselves, we give our minds the opportunity to rest and rejuvenate. Silence as a path to inner peace. Ultimately, silence is a pathway to inner peace. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, silence offers us a reprieve. It is in the silence that we reconnect with our true selves and find the peace that resides within us. The more we practice silence, the more we learn to let go of the noise and chaos of everyday life. Over time, this practice becomes a natural part of our lives, and we find ourselves experiencing more moments of calm and clarity. Silence is not an escape from life. It is a way of fully engaging with it. From a place of peace and presence, By embracing silence, we open the door to a deeper, more meaningful experience of life. Chapter 3. Letting go of fear through control. The illusion of control. In life, one of the greatest sources of fear is the belief that we must control everything around us. We often convince ourselves that if we can control our environment, our circumstances, and the people in our lives, we can avoid pain and discomfort. However, the truth is that control is often an illusion. No matter how hard we try, we cannot control everything. The more we try to control, the more we find ourselves overwhelmed by fear. Fear of losing control, fear of the unknown, fear of failure. But what if the key to overcoming fear lies not in gaining more control, but in letting go of the need to control? The power of self-control. True control does not come from manipulating external circumstances. It comes from mastering our own responses and emotions. Self-control is the foundation of inner peace. When we learn to control our reactions, we reclaim our power. This is not about suppressing emotions or denying our natural impulses. It is about choosing how we respond to the situations we face. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to respond with calmness, clarity, and purpose. By focusing on controlling ourselves, we take away fear's power to dominate our lives. When we realize that we cannot control everything around us, but we can control how we respond, fear begins to lose its grip. The role of acceptance. Another essential aspect of letting go of fear through control is learning the art of acceptance. Acceptance is not about resigning ourselves to a situation, but rather about acknowledging the reality of the present moment. When we accept what is without resistance, we free ourselves from the constant struggle that fear often brings. Fear thrives in resistance. When we resist reality, we create an internal conflict that amplifies our anxiety. But when we accept life as it comes, we release the power that fear has over us. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to face reality without judgment or fear of what might come next. The freedom in surrendering control. Surrendering control can feel counterintuitive. In a world that constantly tells us to take charge, to be the master of our fate, the idea of letting go of control can seem frightening. However, surrendering control does not mean giving up. It means recognizing what is beyond our influence and letting go of the need to force outcomes. When we stop trying to control everything, we create space for life to unfold naturally. This surrender is not passive. It is an active choice to trust in the process of life. It is in surrendering control that we find true freedom. We are no longer bound by the fear of failure or the need to control every detail. Instead, we trust that everything will unfold as it should, releasing the fear of uncertainty. One of the most common fears we experience is the fear of the unknown. We fear what we cannot predict or control, but the more we cling to certainty, the more we create anxiety. Life is inherently uncertain, and the attempt to control every aspect of it only increases our stress. By letting go of the need for certainty, we can begin to embrace the beauty of the unknown. This doesn't mean we are unprepared or passive. It means we learn to trust ourselves and the process of life. We develop the confidence that we can handle whatever comes our way. Fear of uncertainty is rooted in a lack of trust, both in ourselves and in life. When we release this fear, we open ourselves up to the possibilities and opportunities that life offers. The path to peace through letting go. Letting go of fear through control is a path to peace. The more we resist life, the more we feed our fear. But when we stop trying to control what is beyond our reach, we begin to experience a sense of calm and peace. The key is not to force life into a shape we want, but to accept it as it is. When we let go of our attachment to control, we allow ourselves to live fully in the present moment. This presence is where true peace resides. Fear cannot exist when we are fully present. It is only when we are caught up in the past or the future that fear takes root. By mastering self-control, accepting reality, and surrendering control, we create a life free from the chains of fear. Embracing the flow of life. Life is a constant flow, a river that moves whether we try to control it or not. When we fight the flow, we exhaust ourselves, but when we learn to move with it, we experience ease and grace. This doesn't mean we become passive. Rather, we become active participants in the dance of life. We learn to navigate the challenges and opportunities that come our way with calm and clarity. The more we embrace the flow of life, the less fear will control us. We trust that whatever comes next is part of the larger plan, and we are equipped to handle it. Letting go of the need for control opens the door to a life of freedom, peace, and profound joy. Chapter 4. The Quiet Path to Peace. The Power of Silence. In our fast-paced world where noise and distractions are ever present, silence has become a rare commodity. Yet silence holds a profound power, a power to heal, to calm, and to guide us toward inner peace. In moments of silence, we can reconnect with ourselves and the world around us. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the space where we can hear our true thoughts and listen to the deeper voice within. It is in these quiet moments that we can process emotions, release stress, and find clarity. True peace cannot be found in the chaos of the mind or the hustle of daily life. It is only through silence that we can tap into a sense of stillness that allows us to find a deep, lasting tranquility. The stillness within. Silence does not only exist externally. The stillness we seek is not found merely in the quiet of a room, but in the stillness of our own minds. Our minds, constantly racing with thoughts, judgments, and worries, often prevent us from experiencing peace. However, when we make space for silence within ourselves, we create room for calmness. This stillness within is not an empty void, but a fertile ground where peace, clarity, and wisdom can flourish. It is through the practice of mindfulness and meditation that we can cultivate this inner stillness. The more we embrace the silence within, the more we begin to experience the deep peace that resides there. Silence as a source of strength. We often associate strength with external actions, speaking out, asserting control, or forcing our will on others. However, true strength comes from the ability to remain quiet in the face of adversity. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a powerful tool for maintaining composure in chaotic situations. When we remain silent, we create space to observe without reacting, to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Silence gives us the strength to endure challenges without being swept away by them. It allows us to maintain our dignity and integrity, no matter what is happening around us. This strength, born of silence, is rooted in a deep sense of inner peace, embracing solitude. Solitude is often misunderstood in today's world. We fear being alone, equating it with loneliness or emptiness. But solitude, like silence, can be a path to profound peace. In solitude, we can reconnect with ourselves and reflect on what truly matters. It is in solitude that we can hear the whispers of our soul, guiding us toward clarity and purpose. Solitude is not about isolation or abandonment. It is about creating space to be fully present with ourselves. In this solitude, we can examine our thoughts, our fears, and our desires without the distractions of the outside world. By embracing solitude, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of who we are and what we need in order to experience true peace. The quiet path to inner peace. The quiet path to peace is not a complicated one. It does not require grand gestures or extraordinary efforts. It simply requires the willingness to slow down, to embrace silence, and to listen. The more we make time for quiet reflection, the more we allow ourselves to cultivate inner peace. This peace is not something that is attained through external accomplishments, but through the practice of mindfulness, acceptance, and stillness. The quiet path to peace is a journey inward, a journey that requires us to let go of distractions and expectations and simply be present with ourselves. As we walk this path, we begin to experience a profound sense of calm that transcends the noise of the world around us. The role of meditation in quieting the mind. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools we have for quieting the mind and finding inner peace. Through regular meditation, we learn to silence the constant chatter of our thoughts and to cultivate a deep sense of stillness. Meditation doesn't require us to stop thinking. Rather, it teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment and to let them pass by without attaching ourselves to them. In this way, meditation helps us to detach from the noise of the world and to reconnect with our true selves. By incorporating meditation into our daily lives, we can create a sanctuary of peace within, no matter what is happening outside. The joy of quietude. As we learn to embrace silence and stillness, we begin to experience the joy that comes with it. In the quiet, we discover a peace that is not fleeting or dependent on external circumstances. It is a peace that is always available to us, waiting to be accessed whenever we choose to quiet our minds. The joy of quietude is not about escaping from life or avoiding challenges, but about finding the strength to face them with clarity and composure. It is through quietness that we can truly appreciate the beauty of life, without the distractions that cloud our vision. The more we allow ourselves to enjoy the quiet, the more we open ourselves to a life of peace, fulfillment, and inner harmony. Chapter 5. Living fearlessly in the present moment. The illusion of fear. Fear, in its essence, is often an illusion. It arises from our minds projecting future scenarios that may never unfold as we imagine them. Most of the things we fear have no real foundation in the present moment. Instead, fear thrives in our minds, feeding on uncertainty, doubt, and the unknown. The key to living fearlessly is to recognize that fear is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood. When we face fear, not as an enemy, but as a signal, we can break free from its grip. Fear becomes powerless when we stop living in anticipation of what might happen and start embracing the reality of what is. The power of now. To live fearlessly, we must learn to live in the present moment. The present moment is where life happens. It is the only time we have, yet many of us spend it worrying about the past or the future. The more we focus on the past, the more we carry unnecessary baggage, and the more we focus on the future, the more we live in a state of constant anxiety. When we fully immerse ourselves in the present, we experience life as it truly is, without the weight of past regrets or future worries. Living in the moment allows us to free ourselves from the shackles of fear and to experience peace, clarity, and contentment. Mindfulness is a tool for fearlessness. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for overcoming fear. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to be fully present in whatever we are doing, without judgment or distraction. When we are mindful, we stop giving our energy to unnecessary thoughts and worries. Instead, we focus on the task at hand, on the sensations in our body, and on the world around us. This focus on the present moment reduces anxiety and fear as we stop overthinking and start simply living. Mindfulness brings us back to the here and now, where fear cannot survive. It teaches us to respond to life's challenges with awareness and calm, instead of reacting out of fear. Embracing uncertainty. Fear often comes from our desire for control and certainty. We want to know what will happen next, and when we don't, we become anxious. The truth is, life is inherently uncertain. No matter how hard we try, we can never control the future. The key to living fearlessly is to embrace uncertainty, to accept that we cannot predict or control what will happen. This acceptance frees us from the burden of trying to control everything and opens us up to new possibilities. When we release the need for certainty, we become more adaptable, resilient, and open to the present moment. We learn to trust in our ability to handle whatever comes our way. The freedom of acceptance. Living fearlessly also requires the practice of acceptance. This does not mean resignation, but rather a deep acknowledgement of what is. Acceptance allows us to stop fighting against reality, to stop resisting what we cannot change, and to stop wishing things were different. When we accept the present moment fully, we experience freedom. We stop trying to control outcomes or cling to the past. Instead, we embrace the flow of life, trusting that whatever comes our way is part of our journey. This acceptance removes the emotional burden of fear and allows us to live with a sense of peace and purpose, no matter the circumstances. The courage to act in the face of fear. Fear can paralyze us, preventing us from taking action, from moving forward. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act despite it. To live fearlessly, we must develop the courage to move forward, even when fear is present. This courage comes not from ignoring our fear, but from acknowledging it and choosing to act anyway. Each time we take action in the face of fear, we weaken its hold on us. Over time, we build resilience and confidence, knowing that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way. Living fearlessly requires us to keep moving forward, one step at a time, trusting in ourselves and our ability to navigate any challenges that arise. Living fully in the present. Ultimately, living fearlessly means living fully in the present. It means savoring the moments, appreciating the beauty of the now, and letting go of the worries that rob us of joy. Fear can only exist when we are not fully present. When we are grounded in the moment, fear cannot control us. We experience life in its purest form, without the cloud of anxiety or the weight of future expectations. Living fearlessly is about being awake to the present, embracing it fully, and allowing ourselves to experience the freedom, peace, and joy that comes from letting go of fear and living in the here and now. Conclusion. We've traveled a quiet path together, one that winds through the landscape of the mind, through silence, through fear, and into peace. Along the way, we've seen something powerful and deeply human. Your mind can heal your life, not through noise or chaos, but through calm awareness, through acceptance, through the steady, grounded power of presence. When you understand your mind, not as a battlefield, but as a companion, you begin to unlock its greatest potential, the ability to soothe, to transform, to bring you home to yourself. Silence is not emptiness. It is space, space where healing can happen, where fear dissolves, and where peace is no longer something you chase, but something you become. We live in a world that tells us to go faster, to do more, to be more. But in truth, healing often happens in stillness. Strength is born in quiet moments, and peace comes not from controlling the world, but from learning to let go. You don't need to be fearless to live without fear. You just need to be present, moment by moment, breath by breath. This is your invitation to step back from the noise, to stop running from fear, and to return calmly, quietly to your center. And in that center you'll find it. Not just healing, not just peace, but yourself. Whole, unshaken, alive. Stay grounded, stay present, and walk gently, because the quiet path to peace is already beneath your feet.